Alright, welcome back everybody, welcome back to another news-related video. I am back to talk about the Nintendo 3DS. Well, in this case, the new Nintendo 3DS, because I just got some, more unfortunate news and all that. And I kind of want to talk about it. And I'm going to say it's related to, repairing it and all that. Because apparently they will not, they're not going to do repairs anymore. But before I talk about that, remember to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. And I would like for you guys to, if you guys want to, you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. There I post, I post things occasionally on my channel and all that, so yeah, that's another place you guys can follow me on in case you guys, want to know where I'm at. That's where I go. Anywho, let's go ahead and get into this. So I'm going to talk about the Nintendo 3DS because, I'm going to say this console here, I grew up with this console. I grew up with it. Well, actually, I grew up with the DSs in general. I had a little bit of experience with the Game Boys, but I pretty much grew up with the DSs and the 3DSs. I gotta say, they're still great consoles. I think the 3DS I have a bit more issues with than the DSi. Now, which one is better? That's kind of hard to describe because, it's hard to describe because basically, the systems are kind of, they've got their problems and all that. Like, the Nintendo DSi, I like using the camera on it that goes with the 3DS too. The problem is it doesn't have a video camera on it. The 3DS does, but the DSi has more features on that and all that, and then the 3DS you can play, more games and all that on it. But it's also hard to back up, your data and all that on the 3DS compared to the DSi, so it's a little hard to kind of figure out which one's better. I would probably say the DSi, but I don't know. But my point is, I've grew up with these things, and honestly, and growing up with them, I've had problems where I've broken the hinges and all that on them. Well, either that or the charger thing quit working and I had to get a new one. Because that's what kind of happened and all that. And, you used to be able to do this thing where you could, send them in to Nintendo and they could fix them and all that. I was not really sure if I wanted to send this stuff in or not because, especially, like my 3DS, the third one I had, it broke in half. So, it broke in half. I actually still have the remaining parts. I'm trying to get it fixed. Funny enough, I actually got it working, sort of. I mean, I had it, able to charge it, and I just couldn't turn it on because, when I was putting it together, trying to get the cables and all that together, it was, my hands aren't steady enough, so I ended up kind of, messing it up. It was so annoying, I swear to God. It putting these things together is so annoying. But because it was broken half and in pieces, I didn't want to send it into Nintendo and all that, because I could have done that. I don't really regret it, but still, I kind of could have sent it into Nintendo and they could have fixed it. But the thing is, though, is, apparently now they're not allowing you to send them in. Well, they wouldn't let you send in the old models for a long time. They discontinued that, a couple years ago. But now they won't even let you do the new 3DS either. Or the Wii U. I think the Wii U is also, they won't allow that anymore either. And I gotta say, that's very, very disappointing news. I swear, there's been, so much bad news lately. I want some good news. Come on, some good news, It's just, I mean, there's been some, but nothing, like, the bad news seems to be way more bad than the good, and I actually have some more bad news I want to talk about later, and this is actually scary. That'll be related with, like, Twitter and all that, but I'll talk about that later. Yeah, it just seems like we're getting nothing but bad news after bad news. It's freaking annoying, especially with Nintendo. Like, God, Nintendo is just like... I will say, I like their games and all that. Their games are really nice and all that, but boy, they make some stupid decisions and all that. But it feels like, yeah, they have way too much faith in the Switch. And I will say the Switch itself, it did sell very well. I don't know if it's outsold the PS2. I can't remember if it was the PS2 or the DS, but it outsold one of them and all that, which I'm not really surprised because not only it's a lovable console, but it's also it's a console thing too that includes well, there's also, there's different models, too. You got the Switch Lite, the normal Switch, and then you got which I hear the Switch Lite didn't even sell that good, but then you had, like, then you had the Switch Ultra and all that, and I think they're talking there's going to be a Switch 2, so they're going to be making another Switch. I'm just hoping it ain't like the Wii U. But that's the problem, though. I've been kind of getting at, like, this stuff is like, even other people are even saying it. So it's not just me, but it's like, it's just like I'm afraid, and other people are afraid the other console is not going to sell as well. Because let's face it, the Switch, although like I said, it sold a lot of consoles, and that's because a lot of family members play it, and it's something, a lot of families can play, and that's kind of why the handhelds, tend to sell more, because, they're handhelds, and more than one person can play. That's kind of why that happened, and, like, I think they also count the amount of them they have, so, like, the 3DSs, too, I think they also probably count them, they roll them into all in one, and I think, I could be wrong, but I think that's kind of what they do and all that, and, because, you had the DSs, you had the DSIs, and then you had the 3DSs, the 2DSs, and a lot of that stuff, and, yeah, basically, they kind of just, I think they might roll them in, I don't know, they might count, like, some of the models separate, but I think they mostly roll them in. But the thing is, though, is the reason why the Switch also has done really well is because a lot of the games are backwards compatible, too. Like, well, they're not like backwards compatible. I mean, they have a lot of ports, like a lot of ports. A lot of the games that are on them are, like, popular, from the Wii U, or they even have Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon or 2 HD. Which is a game I haven't bought, by the way, because I can't really afford it and all that, because, I already have it on the 3DS, so I'm like, why do I need it again? I'll buy it in the future, because, in the future, I want to go and possibly do some comparison videos, to the Switch and all that, because I want to kind of look back at the Switch, because I'm curious how well it'll hold up, because, yeah, it has a big library of games, but, compared to the 3DS and the DSi, it doesn't really have a lot else to offer, I don't feel like. It's got its Mii's and all that, and it's got the shops. The shops are honestly not as cool, honestly, as the past ones. Like, there's no music and all that. There's, like, I don't think there's a lot to offer with the shops and all that, it's kind of stinks. But I do feel like they do have a lot of faith in the Switch, which, I can understand that, but, like, that's kind of what happened with the Wii U, too. With the Wii, not the Wii U. The Wii, is it sold a lot of, consoles, too. The problem is I'm kind of afraid, like, what will happen if the next console fails, what if it fails, Nintendo could be losing a lot more money than the Wii U. Because with the Wii U, at least, they had the 3DSs to back them up, so they were making still a lot of money, just not as much. But but that now they only have like one console. I'm really curious how that's even gonna work, you know. Plus, the whole point of the handhelds, I felt like, was to kind of just they're like cheaper and all that, and I mean, yeah, you had the switches, you know, which are stuff, you know, that you can just play on the TV. So it just seems like there's no point of it. But I don't know. I still would be kind of nice if they could bring back some handhelds, but I don't know if they're going to, because like I said, they have a lot of faith in the Switch and all that, but like where I've been kind of going with this video is because they have so much, you know, faith in the Switch, they've been killing off the 3DS and the Wii U. So they've been doing it for like every year they've done something. The first year they shut the shops down. And I'm gonna tell you guys that was a freaking disaster. I mean, I even made a whole video on that. It was a freaking disaster when they did that because I was trying to, like, I mean, a lot of people, including myself, was trying to, you know, back up the, you know, games and all that on there, and they shut that down. Basically, they shut that down kind of, you know, and, you know, basically they shut them both down at the same time, meaning it was kind of hard for people to get the games they wanted because they were freaking so expensive, they weren't going down in price, and it was freaking a nightmare. Then we have, you know, the very next year, which I think, yeah, that would have been last year, they shut down the online features, so you no longer could use online on the things. And now they're shutting down the parts where you can't, like, we can't buy parts for the things anymore. So they're basically just giving up on them. I don't know why. I mean, I would think they would keep that open. Like, I like, think about it. Nintendo could get a lot of money off this stuff if they would keep the parts. I mean, I wouldn't be caring about it too much, but the problem is there's really nowhere else to really go to get these things repaired, you know? I mean, you can send them to, like, a company online. The problem is a lot of these companies are not well known, so you don't know if you're going to send them in and you're going to get the stuff back or not, you know? And that's the problem. It's just kind of frustrating, you know? It's just kind of what they do. It's just frustrating, but, you know, that's kind of what they've been doing. They've been just giving up on all this stuff. And it's kind of probably, out of all the things, it's probably the one that's the most effective. Because the other ones, at least you can, like, mod the systems and all that, which is something I'm probably going to be doing in the future, because I'm, like, at this point, I just don't freaking care, because it'd be Nintendo's fault, because they made it very complicated, and they made a lot of people, including myself, you know, lose money, you know, because they decided to close it down early and all that, like a couple hours early before they announced it, and I'm just like, again, you know, it's just frustrating to deal with this. But yeah, that's kind of what they've been doing. They've been just doing this and all that, and I mean, with this though, what's different about, like, they're repairing this stuff, it's like I said, there's nowhere else really to take them. Because Best Buy won't repair them. You can't take it to Walmart and repair them. You can't take it to GameStop and repair it. There's nowhere to really take it, and that's the problem. Well, I guess I could technically take it to, like, this Radio Shack I have, but what about other people, you know? Like, where are other people going to take their stuff, you know? It's just not going to work out too well. And that's the problem. They keep doing this stuff and all that. That's the problem with them, is this is something they do. They're good at making a lot of good games, and they do good at making their consoles. The problem is they make stupid decisions and don't think about it when they do it. They just make it, and it's freaking annoying. Like, it's really annoying when they make these stupid decisions, you know? It's just like, I mean, if I were working for Nintendo, I would honestly would do things a bit differently. Like, I think they could, I mean, yeah, it would suck to have to, you know, send them in to get repaired and all. Like, if they break it, you gotta pay for it, but I think that's what you were kind of doing anyway, and I feel like they can make money off of that. And the same thing is with the Nintendo Switch Online. Like, instead of it just being for the Switch, I feel like they could open up the online, and all that with the older consoles and make a lot of money that way. That would be really good. But they don't do that. They kind of just let their older systems kind of, die. That sucks. And yeah, you can get a lot of games on the newer consoles. The problem is they don't always run the same. I know because I have some ports of some of these games like I bought and all that, and they run differently, Like they do run differently than they do on older stuff, so it's not actually the same thing. And I feel like, that they could keep that open, that'd be nice. And I mean, maybe the shops are a little bit different because, the shops are, older, and all that. Like, people don't really use them anymore, but there are games too that are I think are pretty much stuck on these older consoles, like the Nintendo, what was it done? The Nintendo Badge Arcade thing, yeah, that's stuck on there. Yeah, that's actually something that I actually spent a lot of money on. Like, I've spent like hundreds of dollars on that, and now I can't complete it because, all that. So that's kind of why people are kind of, also modding their systems. They're modding their systems because they keep doing this and all that. And I mean, if Nintendo gets tired of it, like, I feel like they should, like freaking just keep the damn things open. Like, I don't know why they can't do that, But I mean, they're all kind of doing it. I mean, even, it's not just Nintendo, it's actually Xbox and PlayStation are doing that too. They're also kind of, going away from that. It's just frustrating, but that's kind of the world we kind of live in, which is kind of odd, because like I've said that, everything is pretty much going online now anyway, so I'm like, why not just keep the shops open, Why not just keep them open instead of closing them, It's just, it would be a lot more, make a lot more sense, and then keep the online stuff going. Like, I don't know why they would do that, because, I mean, I don't know how much you pay for Nintendo Switch Online, but I'm sure it's not, like, super duper cheap, and I'm like, at that point, you might as well just, I don't even know, you might as well just let it be available on other consoles, too. But, I don't know, like I said, I think this is kind of a whole mess and all that, and I have a bad feeling about, like, the next, Nintendo console. I'm like, what if they, because they're not using the 3DS anymore. They're basically just they're killing it. They killed it. And they're not even letting you repair it anymore. So I'm like, well, what happens if, what happens if, their next console is a flop, I don't know if it'll be as bad as the Wii U, but I don't know if it's gonna be as good, because, I mean, especially if it's gonna be another Switch, like, I don't know what they're gonna do, because, I mean, they could probably maybe release some good games on it, but the problem is, what made the Switch so good was a lot of the games were ported to the Switch and all that, but what are they gonna do now, like, if that's not, like, the case, I don't know. Like I said, this is kind of just really kind of concerning, but I don't know. But I just kind of wanted to share this and all that, because I don't think a lot of people talk about the parts, with the systems and all that, but I wanted to, because, I've actually heard about this news for about a week now, and I've been kind of wanting to talk about it. The Wii U one's been going for a while, but I'm actually wondering too, maybe if because they decided to start announcing they're not going to do it anymore after people have been talking about having problems with the Wii U, not working and all that. So I'm wondering if they just decided to quit doing that because they didn't want, to have a bunch of that stuff be sent to them to fix. I don't know. I'm not really sure what exactly happened with the Wii U. It's like people are saying, like, I guess it doesn't, like, it won't turn on or something, like if it's off too long. I don't really know. I never really had that problem, but of course I've had the white Wii U. I heard this is a problem with the 32 gigabyte, Wii U's, so I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and let things go from here. I just kind of wanted to share this detail and all that. So, anywho, have a nice, wonderful day, everybody. Hopefully, like I said, that they'll, maybe in the future, maybe some stores or something can, like, fix this stuff. Because, honestly, I wouldn't mind paying to get things fixed, if they can fix them, Instead of just, like, because, especially when your system breaks and you lose all your stuff, because that's happened to me, and that's why I'm trying to fix mine, and it's just a pain in the ass. But, anywho, I'll see you all later. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.